Ladies and gentlemen, after Hallen Zilla went on TV, disrespected the ANC, attacked Fikile Mbalula, said Fikile did not read the letter of intent that they have signed with the ANC, that Fikile Mbalula does not understand clearly the clauses that are on the letter. Somebody had to come and defend the ANC. Let me tell you, enter the new chief whip of the ANC, Mdumiseni Ntuli, who came to clarify all of this confusion. Mdumiseni Ntuli spoke in length and said the ANC is still the principal leader of this government of national confusion. What is going on here? Let's talk about that and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, King 053, Mr. Easy Imali Eneng. And we're back at it again with another one. And guys, I'm introducing Mdumiseni Ntuli, the new chief whip of the ANC. It's not a new player in politics. I think a former Secretary General of KwaZulu-Natal. He's been serving there for some time now. And he came to the interview to set the record straight because Hallen Zilla, you know how white people are, just started storming on interviews left and right, taking over the country, giving that impression that they've got more power with that little 20% that they got, more than the ANC in the government of national confusion. They really confused us. Fikile Mbalula could not articulate himself properly. Fikile Mbalula honestly looked like he was not clued up to the document and what they signed, what happened, where, how, kanjani. Nobody knows. But Mdumiseni Ntuli, Ubabumdala, not that old, on his mid-40s, has clarified what is going on here. And let's just listen to what he says.
So you know what the Democratic Alliance's take is on that matter. Section 24, clause 24, I'm going to read it to you. It says, in keeping with the spirit of inclusive GNU, it is agreed that the composition shall be discussed and agreed amongst the existing parties whenever new parties desire to be part of the GNU. So of the political parties that you have now listed outside of the IFP and the DA, and of course yourself, the ANC, was there discussion that took place around the other political parties that have now joined the GNU?
You see, the interpretation of the DA on that clause is essentially predicated on the wrong assumption. And I wonder whether it's a wrong assumption or is a deliberate position adopted by the DA in order to elevate themselves into some kind of a strategic partner within the formation of the GNU. Mm-hmm. It is true that the DA was the first organization to sign the statement of intent, but that never elevated them to be the founding member of the GNU. The leader and the principal leader of the GNU is the African National Congress. Whether the DA signed this morning and the IFP signed in the afternoon and others are signing a week later, it doesn't mean that we needed to meet with the DA and those who sign on the same day as the ANC for us to determine whether or not we should accept more membership into the GNU. What we have understood right from the inception of these engagements is that at the end of the formation of the government, which is yet to be finalized, at the end of the formation and the setting up of the National Assembly, which is yet to be finalized, it's only then that as we continue to engage other parties, anyone else who decide to join after all of those processes have been concluded, their membership and their proposal to join the GNU will therefore have to be discussed by the parties that have already worked together to set up government and to set up the legislature. So it is very opportunistic for the Democratic Alliance to say that even before we are done with what we have agreed we're going to do, nobody must come in. If you want to come in, you must consult all of us. There's no such a clause, such a provision like that.
But there's no clause that says also that only after the establishment of the government itself will you then have the existing members having to discuss the application of a new member wanting to be part of the GNU.
You're quite correct. It's because on our side as the ANC, we understood and we thought that everybody is acting in good faith. And when we're in a meeting, we have a clear understanding, a very perfect understanding of what we are doing and what we are saying. Everybody is going to act consistent with that understanding. It's only now, I mean, with the benefit of hindsight, now that this is being abused by the Democratic Alliance, it's perfectly clear to us that probably we should have set the condition right from the beginning that we are inviting everybody to the formation of government, and until such time that the government has been established, nobody will define themselves as the primary members of the GNU. The GNU is under the leadership of the African National Congress, and it has to remain in size.
Now, when you listen to Mdumiseni Ntuli, you can't help but hear a person with a level-minded, a level head, man. When he speaks, very calm. If you are not listening carefully, can fool you because he explains things better than Fikile Mbalula, to be honest. He explains things better than Fikile. Fikile Mbalula just mumbles and lumbles, and at the end, Fikile Mbalula does not make a valid point after his argument. He says things that don't make sense. But the chief whip, when he speaks, there is construction in his speech. There is direction in what he's saying. So we want to break that down. Firstly, when it comes to inviting new parties, the confusion of the DA is the DA. Hey, you know why people, once they get into a project, even if it's just one, if you organize a charity event and invite a white person, when they get into the organization of the event, they think now they are in control of everyone. Why? Because they've got this sickness that we can't be led by black people. That is the number one sickness that they cannot heal themselves with. It's entrenched within their DNA. And the chief whip is saying, listen, we invite people. We are the principal leader of this government of national confusion. We are the ones who invite people. We are the one who said, listen, come people, let's work. And everyone is invited. The DA has it completely confused. I call number faith. So the problem is that the ANC chief whip is saying he thought that everyone is coming in this with good faith, in good faith for the better of the country. There's no such thing. Deep down, he knows that's a lie. There's no people that are coming in with a good intention to help build the country. Nobody is coming here for that. They are coming there for position. The PA said we wanted position. The DA said we are entitled to 30%. That is exactly what is going on here. Nobody's coming here for good faith. Not the DA. Come on, man. So he also makes it clear on the second clip I'm going to play to you that they are coming here to challenge the mentality of the DA.
We are deliberately responding to this and challenging this position of the DA. It's because we can see, I mean, right from their own articles that they are writing, Ryan could see, Hallen, Zille and others, there is this desire on their part to project themselves as the leadership of the GNU, which is not true. The ANC remains the leadership of the GNU. It's the ANC that conceptualized this idea and invited everybody. And unfortunately, others, of course, decided to walk away, your EFF and MK part, on the basis of the reason that they articulated. But I just want to say what we've understood as the ANC is that the practical reality, the practical reality with which you must contend with as the ANC and as well as South African, is that this matter is going to be subjected to an ongoing and continuous debate and intellectual discourse in our country. Primarily because we are bringing together here political parties that represent different ideological perspectives. And the contestation about who's going to set the agenda in the GNU is going to be subject of an ongoing engagement. And the ANC is ready and prepared to define the agenda and to lead everybody who has been invited to form the GNU.
Yeah. So on the basis of the concession that you make, that it is absent, that clarity that only after the establishment of the government, with Section 24, Clause 24 then come in place, does this then mean that the DA was actually correct in the interpretation on the basis of the omission?
Well, it means that they made that kind. Look, I don't think they were correct. That's why I'm saying there's a distinction between you reading the document without having been involved in the discussion and those who were involved in the discussion who understood the spirit and the letter of what is contained in the document. So in my own view, they are acting opportunistically, as I'm saying, because as you know, this new entity is going to be subjected, as I'm saying to you, to an ongoing discussion. And each party or parties within the GNU will make their own effort to set the national agenda and to determine what the GNU is supposed to do.
So what happens
but the ANC, as the leader of the GNU, has a primary responsibility to come in and intervene in instances where there is a distortion of the commonly adopted positions.
So according to the ANC's own interpretation, currently as the leader of the GNU, any political party that is represented in the National Assembly that wants to form part of the GNU, it is up to the ANC to decide whether that political party joins the GNU or not, up until the establishment of government.
Yes, because the ANC is an inviter. The ANC invited the IFP, the ANC invited the DA and all other political parties. Some of the political parties decided that they want to consult their own constituents. Others took longer. Others were not, they didn't take that long like the DA. That is why we have had to intervene when the DA says they were not expecting the PA to join the GNU. And we said to them, nothing is going to work according to your party political expectation.
Doubling up on that point, he says clearly, Mr. Mdumiseni Ntuli he says clearly, like, listen, we are the ones that invite people. We are the principal leader of this, and the DA are not the leaders of this thing. And I'm telling you, the DA is going to walk away from this arrangement. If the ANC does not give the DA what they want, of which I'm going to speak about a little bit later in this video, the DA is going to walk away. The DA wants to be in charge. The DA does not believe the ANC are capable enough to lead governments, to run a successful government. They have said it multiple times that the Western Cape is the only government that's successful, that's running successful, of which we all know it's a lie. Unemployment is high. Crime is high. Only white people and black super class people live nice in Cape Town, and that's a very small geographic area. The rest of the Western Cape, people live in poverty, you know. So it does not help what the DA is trying to do there. The ANC will always invite people, but the ANC cannot be looking at the expectations of the DA. The chief whip is making it clear that they can't come with expectations here, you know, and that is an unfair statement, because how can you go into a government of national confusion without expectation? Everyone has got expectation. Now the ANC is starting to lose, is starting to show their true color, because they've got the Speaker of Parliament and they've got the President. You have voted for those people. You can't vote them out now. You can later on in another motion and whatever, but you can't do anything in terms of reversing what you guys did in voting them in power. So the true colors of the ANC is coming out now. Let's hear what the chief whip said about knowing that they are working with their enemies right now.
Both the left and the right ideological spectrum. And we are conscious of the fact that some of these parties, for that matter, the EFF, the MK party, the DA itself, had set themselves as part of their own mission an agenda to liquidate the African National Congress. And when we were inviting them and they were saying, no, we can't come when so and so is there, we can't come, we said to them, listen, as the ANC, we understand that all of you are very dangerous to us. You have made this publicly known before and after election. Some of them have said, look, our mission is to liquidate the ANC. And that is why we've been very clear that none of them has an obligation to defend the ANC, but the ANC is going to have to defend itself and to defend and advance the national democratic revolution, of course, within the constraint of the new reality that we find ourselves in.
Yesterday, when the president, after his inauguration, when he was addressing some of the people that had gathered at the lawns of the union buildings, he said that kulaba abangaphakathi ku-GNU abagangayo sizobakhipha. What does it mean?
It exactly means that you commit to a GNU on the basis of a minimum program. The first part of that program is articulated in what we call the statement of intent. The detailed part of that program is going to be worked out in the national dialogue. Because the reason why we decided that we need to have a national dialogue is because as the ANC, we've recognized the fact that for some time the South African population is drifting apart. There's a major disintegration. The problem, we are unable to live up to our own objective of realizing a non-racial, non-sexist, and a democratic society. So when the president says anyone who's misbehaving, who's acting in a manner that is inconsistent with the adopted principles of the GNU, will have to be ready to go out.
Is the DA misbehaving?
Well, in this case, I think what we can say about the DA is that they are attempting to, to take control of the direction. Because in their own view, and I mean, when you read the articles that were written by Hallen Zille and the one by Ryan Kutsi, clearly you can see that this is a very condescending kind of a position in which they believe that they hold the ANC, and if they go away, the government of national unity is going to collapse. There's no such a thing like that. The government is going to be set up by President Ramaphosa. Anyone who decides to walk away from that government does not mean a collapse of government. It may very well be that if you walk away from that government, you are then going to go and mobilize the rest of the political parties to pass a vote of confidence into the ANC and therefore working towards, the collapse of the government. But it's not an automatic exercise. It's not even the case that, remember, there are parties that decided to stay away because there is a DA. The MK and the EFF, the reason why they stayed away is because in their own view, they would never be party to a process that involves the DA. And because they are saying the DA is a threat to the ANC, why do you bring them closer to you? We said to them, you are equally a serious threat to us, but we can contain all of you if you are under one.
So you're still going to try and find a resolution with the Democratic Alliance?
Well, of course, in the areas where there is a different interpretation of the positions we've adopted, commonly adopted, not just with the DA, we need to clear our minds as members of the GNU in order to ensure that we assist the DA not to deviate from the commonly adopted positions.
On Thursday
is exactly why this government of national unity is not going to work. Because everyone is working with everyone, knowing in the back of their mind that actually we are enemies. Even though we are in the same team, if I lose my footing, this person is coming for me. This person is coming for me. Actually, this person does not want me to win. The DA does not want the ANC to look like they have managed to successfully unite parties and make them work together. The DA does not want it. The DA wants to shine. That is what the DA wants. So he's right to say the ANC must defend the ANC. None of these people are going to defend the ANC. None of them. And now he's saying they will kick out people who misbehave. It's the president that said that. You're gonna kick who out? The president is not gonna kick out the DA. The president is not going to kick out the DA because remember, you kick out the DA and you're now pretending that you can work with the MK and the EFF. There is no way the MK is working with the ANC with Cyril Ramaphosa. There's no way. And how must the EFF and the MK feel? They came, they said, listen, we can work with you in the beginning, and you said no to them. You went with the white bourgeoisies, and you went with your settlers, your colonizers, and then after that, the relationship does not work because it looks like this is not going to last even 2 months. Immediately this weekend when the president announced, if he does not give them the cabinets that they want, when he announced cabinet, if he does not give them the ministries that they want, it looks like they're going to go out. The PA has already said if they don't get what they want, police, home affairs, or even another higher department, they're not going to, they just gonna say thank you, president, and walk away. I'll cover that also. But to say that the door is still open for them to work with the MK and the EFF, it's gonna be a difficult one for the ANC. It's possible, but it's gonna be a difficult one. There's another thing that we had 60% consensus that must be reached to make decisions and all of that. What is the chief whip saying about that?
And when it comes to the allocation of the executive seats, would it be proportional to the percentage acquired by a member of the GNU?
It's a definite no. It would be on the basis of what the president has decided in exercising his prerogative.
So meaning that he could take one person from the DA and take 5 from the IFP?
So he can. That's why it's not even part of the statement of intent, because we understood that, when we said in the document, we must respect the Constitution. We can't be selective. Part of what the Constitution says is that the prerogative to determine not just the composition of the cabinet, but the members that can be chosen to serve in the cabinet reside with the President of the Republic as the head of state. And there's no way that we're going to amend that because we're in the GNU. Of course, the President is very conscious about the imperative to consolidate the GNU and to ensure that it succeeds. And I think he's going to reach out to all political parties consistent with that appreciation.
Has the ANC had a conversation at all around the role of the leader of a government business, whether it stays with the deputy president of the country, whether it moves to another executive member of the executive, and whether Paul Mashatile does come back as the deputy president of the country?
Well, we haven't had that discussion at my level. When I'm saying my level, in the National Working Committee or the National Executive Committee, these are matters that are usually handled by the national officials of the ANC. But I can say that I would imagine that the president of the ANC and the president of the country will consider the deputy president of the ANC as the deputy president of the country. I think that is most logical, and that is expected not just from me as a member of the ANC, even from the supporters who voted for the ANC to be a leading party in the formation of the new government in this country.
Mdumiseni, Ntuli, thank you so much for your time.
This executive seat story, the DA has said, Hallen Zille has said, and I'm sick and tired of Hallen Zille, just a slow kokoloy. Hallen Zille has said that the DA is entitled to 30% of the ministries. That is something that the ANC cannot do. Because immediately that minister of whatever, of energy, whatever is in the hands of the DA, they're going to reverse the little gains that the ANC has done over the past 30 years. They're going to reverse it. So the president has got a headache if he does anyway. Because we still in our heart think there's still some black blood running through the veins of Cyril Ramaphosa. If he does, he's got a headache now to see which ministries can he give away, can he afford to give away, and which ones to keep at home. Understand? Nangiti munike no Gaten Mackenzie. Nangiti is going crazy, wants to be a police minister. Give it to him. Let them see the real things, because from outside you might think you'll be able to run things, but from inside it's totally different. The police are not a law on themselves. They also follow the law. But anyway, he says the ANC president is in his constitutional right to elect whoever he wants to. So it's a definitely no when it comes to the DA's entitlement of 30%. A definite no. The DA, I'm telling you today, are going to be responding to these statements. They're going to be responding because they can't be happy with that statement. That statement is going to tell them that, listen, we have used you to vote for us to get the president, but now you are not going to dictate to us how things are going to go. You're not going to get the deputy president. You're not going to get the presidency of Minister of Presidency. You're not gonna get all these big portfolios that you think you're gonna get. It's gonna be crazy. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Yeah, when we wanted to start to vote, I could not stop. I could not wait for us to get to a point where we vote. Now that we have voted, I can't wait to see how MK is gonna win in their cases, because I believe they're gonna win their cases. The numbers of the IEC are simply not adding up. The people who have voted compared to the the numbers that they have given the valid votes. It's just a mess there in the IEC. So I know whatever we are doing here, we're just wasting time, because the MK is gonna come back and save the country when they win at the electoral court, even the constitutional court. I don't think those people will be able to contain the ANC. If not, we have to go international. But a revote is something that must happen in South Africa. But the one thing I'm anticipating for is to see how much of a sellout is the ANC. Huh? Here is the story of them trying to recognize Orania more. You recognize them more, Ganjan. How do you recognize a recognized place more? How can I say let's recognize Kimberley more? Let's recognize Soweto more. What are we recognizing? We already know that place is there. It gets recognized. They vote. They participate in everything that the country is doing. What are we recognizing actually? And I hear that is the term that the Freedom Front Plus has given to the ANC in the Northern Cape. So Dr. Zamane Soul, you want to tell me that he has agreed to that? To what are we recognizing? Ayazi abalungu bayahlupha, ngifuna ukukutshela manga. Ayazihlupha lezi. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I'll give for you guys right now. I can't wait to see how many ministries this president is gonna give to the DA. He's under pressure. He's under pressure because immediately, remember, in his mind, Cyril Ramaphosa knows the ANC can work with the MK and the EFF, but he's the one that is going to suffer. He's the one that is going to suffer. So for him to save his own skin, he has to then sell out and give the ministries that the white people are looking for and give it to them, and let his people be angry at him than the white people to be angry at him. He's got a choice to make coming this past 3 days, 2 days. Who knows? Sunday, Monday, we'll get to know what is what. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for following and subscribing to African Mojoro with your boy King. 500 subscribers. We're getting to that 1,000. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys. YouTube is becoming a lifestyle for me. I'm enjoying my time here on YouTube doing content for you guys. Agilali. Because abantu abalalayo abantu abanemali, thina singanamali siyavuka siyasebenza siyafukuza. Ulalelani 8 hours unganamali. 8 hours could be doing something progressive ngesikhathi sakho. Until we meet next time, don't forget to pray. After you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.